Before we get to our content for today, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Iowa Floor Covering and their Tough Core Click Together 4.5 millimeter waterproof vinyl flooring. The guys down at IFC in Bondurant are here to serve you Hawkeye fans out there across the state. Visit iowafloorcovering.com/DIY to check out this great self-installation deal. And Ascent Nutrition. Use the code Hawkeyes to receive 15% off your total order. Perhaps it's the lion's mane mushroom, the newest product, one of their newest products out there. Maybe it's the pine pollen powder that has so many great benefits, or their Ascent coffee, which is a daily must. Visit goascentnutrition.com to read about all these great products. Again, goascentnutrition.com. So Iowa football rolling in the commitments right now. It was a big weekend. We've talked about it last couple days. And Iowa continuing to benefit off of this big recruiting weekend. Gavin Hoffman, tight end out of the Overland Park, Kansas area. That's basically Kansas City, committing to the Hawkeyes on this Tuesday. And he is considered to be the best tight end in the state of Kansas. Gavin at 6'5", 220 pounds, playing football at Pine Valley Northwest High School in Overland Park. By the way, if Overland Park sounds familiar, that is in Kansas City area, same town of Iowa receiver Dayton Howard, who's part of the 23 class, just got to campus here earlier in the month. But Gavin, you watch him on tape, man, he has got some wheels. I'm going to give you a comparison to kind of log in your brain, and you may come back 2 or 3 years later and say, well, Corey, that was a stupid comparison to make. That's possible. Wouldn't be the first time, but I'm going to do it because we love to talk comp players, right? So before we get to that, what does Gavin bring to the table? Well, played a lot of tight end and receiver in high school. I mean, he lined up on the outside. He lines up as a traditional inline tight end, and he does both very well. I do think one thing that he's going to have to learn when he gets to Iowa is better fundamentals as it relates to run blocking. You watch him on tape, and you see him throwing guys around. I will give him credit for this. He seems to be able to get low, and at 6'5", that's a good sign, right? I mean, offensive lineman or tight end, if you're blocking, better be able to get low. But I do think, according to some tape that I watched of Gavin, he's gotten away at times with bad fundamentals because he's just a better, bigger, stronger athlete than most of the guys he's matching up with. And by the way, Pine Valley Northwest High School, good, solid level of Kansas football. Now, here's the biggest thing that stood out in tape for me. He's got soft hands. And that's one thing that has been brought up numerous times about Iowa's tight end room for 2023, specifically Michigan transfer Eric All. He's smooth in and out of his breaks, but he's also got really soft hands. He's a wide receiver in a tight end's body, very similar to a guy named Noah Fant. Let's not forget, Noah was recruited initially as a defensive end, ended up playing tight end at Iowa, and he has got that natural smoothness to his game, runs like a receiver, is big like a tight end, has the soft hands of a receiver. I see a little bit of that with Gavin Hoffman. I am by no means saying that Gavin is going to be the next Noah Fant, but I really like this kid. And I just want to say this. We've talked about Michael Burt, who committed to Iowa here about a week ago. We talked about Grant Leeper, who was on the show here a couple weeks ago. Honestly, I might be most excited about Hoffman. No disrespect to Leeper or to Burt. Has got a smoothness about his game, and he runs like a receiver. So he catches like a receiver. He runs like a receiver. He's not afraid to catch through contact. He's not afraid of the run game. Obviously, as I said, I think maybe fundamentals are something he's going to have to learn when he gets to Iowa, and that's something that really took some time for Noah Fant to develop as well. But he has got the flash. And how about this? A number of high major SEC schools offering Gavin Hoffman. Tennessee, maybe the most prolific offense in the country, with the exception maybe being Ohio State last year, Auburn, Arkansas, Mizzou. How about Purdue out of the Big Ten, Nebraska, Illinois, Arizona State out of the Pac-12, and Texas Tech out of the Big 12, and a number of other group of 5 schools. And my guess is, as I said yesterday about Devin Kennedy, had Hoffman waited longer, he would have gotten more offers. But Iowa sold him on committing during this past weekend's visits. And I mean, we're just continuing to pile up the commitments at this point. Haven't yet talked about a wide receiver commit that Iowa landed earlier today and a defensive back they landed yesterday. So we've got much more to get to later this week. But this has obviously been a very successful weekend, and it sounds like we're not done. Based on what's out there, it sounds like Iowa's probably going to get at least another commitment or 2 this week, would be my guess. No, wait and see. No guarantees there. But again, to recap on Hoffman, 6'5", 220 out of Pine Valley Northwest High School in Overland Park, Kansas City area, has got great wheels. He's got soft hands, wide receiver-esque skills. He gets low in the run game. His fundamentals will likely need to improve, just like many tight ends coming out of high school. And he had a number of high major offers, including 7 schools from either the Big Ten or the SEC. And of course, we're nowhere close to signing day. A number of other offers were likely going to be coming his way. He was considered a 3-star recruit by most websites that I saw. Who cares about star ratings? I've said that so many times. I think a better indicator is what crop of national attention you're garnishing, especially for a guy who is a Midwest kid. If you're getting schools like Auburn and Tennessee and Arizona State to be coming up and saying, hey, we like you and we think you can play in this conference, being able to have offers from a bunch of different types of offenses and different conferences in the country. Again, I think a lot of that's a result of his athleticism. Also, a very good basketball athlete, his athleticism, his upside. And if you compare him to Michael Burt, who committed here less than a week ago, they're both about 6'5". Burt, the bigger body at 240 pounds, and Hoffman at 220. And to compare back to Noah Fant for a second, I looked it up. Noah Fant was 6'5", 6'4", somewhere in that range, and about 210 coming out of high school. So very, very similar in size and stature. Maybe not quite the athlete that Noah Fant was, but pretty darn good one. Appreciate you tuning in for another segment, folks. We'll talk to you likely tomorrow about Iowa's other commitments as the pledges continue to roll in for Iowa football's 2024 class. We'll talk to you soon.